Hey, TalkLife, hope you're doing well. We're talking new updates this week. There's a range of updates. You're going to like them or you're not going to like them. I'm going to show you first here. There's profile changes and some feed changes as well. We're going to be talking sleep.
Or lack of.
Or lack of sleep. And bit of gaming, bit of...
Black Friday.
Black Friday. When is that actually coming up?
Thanksgiving.
Friday after Thanksgiving. So the last Friday of the month.
Yeah. So I don't know what we're adding to Black Friday, but I'm excited about that conversation. We got Rory on the couch. Hello.
Hi guys. Hi team.
Joining us. Bit of a donut connoisseur.
Yeah, I'm glad you finished that sentence. Like, I thought you were just calling me a donut for a second.
So what I know about you is you generally leave a lot of reviews for different things.
I'm a passionate man. Yeah. Passionate.
So is it just a standard, you leave a restaurant and you drop a review, or is it something deeper?
I think there's never a middle review with me. I'm never like, oh, that was satisfying. I'm going to be on one end of the scale. It's either going to be the most horrific thing I've ever had, or it's going to be one of the best experiences of my life.
Is that just you? Or is it actually just not satisfying?
Yeah, that could be... No, I do. I get mediocre quite often. Hit mediocre, but if I'm going to go out of my way and write about something, I'm going to be...
Okay, so you'd only drop a review if it is at either end.
Yeah.
Not if it is satisfactory.
Yeah, I'm not going to write a review going, it was okay. Because, I mean, most places are just okay, aren't they? So...
Can I know this is a weird way to start, but did anyone see the Dizzy Donuts thing that happened last week? I know we talked about, so the gentleman, not a gentleman, he threw the bucket of water. Did you see that? The bucket of water on the homeless person sleeping outside? Did you see that?
No, that sounds horrible.
What, outside of a donut shop?
Like outside and behind in Eugene. I don't know where this is, but he walked up with a bucket of water and tipped it on, and she obviously went ballistic and said, I've only got one set of clothes. Oh. Why would you do this? But the world and the internet has punished Dizzy Donuts on their Yelp and everywhere else. Like, they are in the negatives.
You showed me the video, and rightfully so, because it was horrific.
What an absolute asshole.
Yeah.
Like, if you're watching this, Dizzy, but there's actually another donut shop in the same city.
Yeah, they're going to get...
That is
it's probably a franchise as well, right?
A different name. It's like Dizzy.
Oh, okay.
No. Didn't I say Dizzy already? Different donut shop. Anyway.
I'm confused.
Kerry, welcome to the couch.
Thank you.
First time on the couch.
It is indeed.
How do you feel about Yelp reviews?
I'm not interested.
Indifferent?
Indifferent.
Would you choose a place based on the reviews?
No, I like to get a recommendation from someone who's been there, because sometimes I look at the reviews and I think, did someone really write that, or is that someone with a grudge, or did someone?
Rory.
Is it like
it's this guy?
Is it Rory? Yeah, I'm never sure about how authentic, reviews are when you see them on the internet.
Okay.
Maybe
Bit
I'm
of
paranoid.
skepticism.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a bad recommendation from a friend?
I haven't actually.
Okay.
Have you ever given a bad recommendation?
What, on purpose?
Well, no. I've done it unintentionally and have been horrified when someone's come back to me. They're like, "I had a really bad experience," and I've just been absolutely. I've been gutted. I felt really bad. Yeah.
I wish I was part of your circle. There's no way you go back to someone after they give you a restaurant recommendation, and then you say, "Actually, I had a terrible experience. The place you sent me to, I had a terrible experience." You never do that.
Yeah, you do. That's 100%. You're like, "Oh, mate, I hate to tell you this, but didn't have a great time." And, you don't want them going around giving that review out to other people. That
I want a site set up with Rory's recommendations. I just want. If there's one place,
because then I'm opening myself up, then aren't I? Because I'm going to be like, this place is really good, and 4 people to come back and go, that was awful. Be like,
Do you always put your name on the review?
Ooh.
I do them generally on Google, so yeah, it is my name on there.
If you can dig out Rory's reviews, we could drop some into the video, Tristan. Please, just give me his most savage reviews. What is it? We are way off track, but what is your most savage review?
I don't know.
just rubbish.
Just rubbish. Yeah, they generally come with some kind of like witty, like, oh, you should have tried doing this, or you should have done that, or perhaps think about this next time. That's on a bad one. And then the good ones are generally just about how it's normally a person that's made me feel a certain way, which is why I'm writing about it. Like, the person who served me at X way, changed my day. I had a great day because of this person. Like, I hope they get the appreciation for the work that they do.
I love this. Absolutely love it. Mark, fan of reviews?
I will only leave a review if someone has really pissed me off. Which is
Okay.
bad, but yeah.
So you've got that fire and that energy.
Yeah,
to
if
just
I'm
be like-
really angry and
Okay.
I haven't had the guts to say it to their face in the place,
You're just sitting there just like,
I will go home and I will
Gonna
keyboard
review
warrior.
you. Yeah.
Yeah,
wow.
I'm that person.
Should we jump into the updates? So the new the feed design has had a slight change. So obviously the welcome feed has been removed. Thank you for your feedback on that. We've changed the feed to be a little bit cleaner, so you're not getting all those feeds at the top. You've be able to adjust those feeds as well. You can now see highlights on the post. Cool.
Really cool.
Yeah, I actually really like it. This one is called Mark's Cat.
My
You
cat. I used it. Yeah,
That's your post.
I always use a cat.
Okay.
That's why it's called Mark's
So you
cat.
can see the highlights are up there now. The profile has had a complete overhaul as well. So you've got this better looking profile, more text. The story, let me know if you actually use the story. Do you use the story on TalkLife?
I've used it, but I'd be interested to hear whether users do, because I don't spend a lot of time scanning other people's stories, I must admit.
Do you use the story?
I do not use a story, no.
I did mine the other week.
Yeah. What superhero would you be?
Jessica Jones.
Ooh.
Oh.
Okay, interesting. So the profiles are having an update. There's some post changes as well, and just some all-round optimization of how the platform looks. Different sort of menu, cleaner transitions, much smoother. I really like it. Let me know your thoughts. I think this is going to be live in the next few days, 3 or 4 days. In regards to updates, I think, obviously everything we work on has been talked about months beforehand, and we do a lot of testing, and hats off to Draven and the QA team looking at these builds. But I do think that your feedback through this as well is absolutely critical as these things go live. Like, I think if you like something, feel free to review it. If you don't, make sure you do actually keep letting us know as well. So, and there's a fair amount of reviews that we get on the platform on a daily basis, isn't there?
Yeah. It's your platform at the end of the day, so if there's something you don't like that we bring out, we want to know about it.
So that update's going live over the next couple of days. Let us know what you think. If you like it, if you don't like it, let us know in the comments or in the reviews. We love your feedback, and we love having it as part of the platform to know what works and what doesn't work and how you use it as well. So, cool. Sleep.
What is sleep? Says Mark.
This is such a sore subject at the moment.
You've got a post up at the moment about sleep, haven't you?
Yeah. So this came from last night. My child would not sleep. I'm trying not to be angry. So I found myself going for a drive just because I couldn't sleep. And I was just driving around my local town listening to a film soundtrack, which happened to be Indiana Jones, with my screaming baby in the back of the car, obviously in the car seat. I didn't just chuck him in the back of the car. And yeah, just thinking, is this ever going to end? Am I ever going to sleep again?
How old is he now, Mark?
6 weeks.
Okay, so he's still brand new?
Yeah, so it's still brand new. Can't return him.
No.
But then it got me thinking this morning, how do people survive on very little sleep? Like, you can't just drink coffee all day. So that was my thinking behind it.
It does get better. Like, I think definitely kids get into a routine, and you're the pro at this when you've had twins.
Yes, I have had twins. I've I can't even think about it when they were little now. I've sort of blocked it out mentally.
Two of them just makes me go, ooh.
Yeah, and there was another one because I had a 2-year-old when they were born. So there'd be a time where they were all up in the night and all kind of crying, and it would become the next day. And you know when you say, "Oh, I haven't slept," but that person has slept, even if it was just an hour or two, they have. But you really just wouldn't have slept at all, and you start just turning into this complete crazy person. It is a lot of fun.
Rory's just sat there like, well, I sleep.
I do sleep. I've also, one of my very close friends has two. They're 5 and 7 now, but when I first met him, they were like 1 and 3, and they were horrendous. Like to the point where they, like even when they were like 4 or 5, Ruben, his oldest one, would just get up in the night and just come and get in their room and wake them up. So they never ever slept. But they've just moved house and they've put the 2 kids into a room together, and he's like, they literally go to bed themselves, get into bed and go to sleep. And he's like, I just don't know what's happened. I'm not going to question it. We can get sleep again. It's like, but he hasn't slept for like 5 years.
The co-sleeping thing is a huge issue though, isn't it? So I think as parents, you can fall into this trap where you sort of like, it's just easier, right? They come into your bed, they have a bad dream or something, they come in, they fall asleep, and then that just kind of keeps going, and then they sort of form this dependency on sort of coming in, and you it's really hard to break, right? I know my sister was dealing with that for a while as well, just kind of the kids would just come in and it was just easier, they'd all sort of hang out. And
that's like me with my phone. Like I go to bed and put something on my phone, and that's how I sleep, and it gives me the worst sleep. Like I'll wake up at 3 in the morning because my phone's just still running with something on, and I'm dependent on it though. So and if I don't have it, I feel like I'm tossing and turning. But actually, if I do something like read a book,
what do you put on your phone?
Rick and Morty
reviews.
Reviews. Yeah, I like things that I know what it is, so I have to have seen it before. Can't have anything new. So it's American Dad, Simpsons, Rick and Morty, all the things that I've seen 100 times.
Just the trash.
Just real trash stuff, yeah. And it's just on in the background, but what I find is that I focus on it. So I have it so I can just kind of hear it. I focus really hard on trying to hear it, and then that just is enough to send me to sleep. If I don't have it, I'm just like, trying to do everything in my head.
So what I want to do, I want to talk about some of the tips we have, but then also hear your tips as well for new dads. But perhaps you just really always struggled with sleep. Maybe you are looking at your phone. I don't want to sort of get into this whole blue light stuff because
I mean, I don't look at it. It's black. It's under the pillow, but it's just on.
I mean, there's so much. I think your phone now, like everyone knows that your phone can switch over to night mode and stuff, and or flux on your computer if you're looking at your laptop as well is a really good thing. But yeah, I mean, you've all sort of got interesting sleep setups. I mean, what would be for those at home, maybe new dads especially, any sort of tips or advice? Maybe Kerry, you've got some.
Yeah, this is all over to you, Kerry. Yeah. Help.
Or sleep hygiene thoughts?
I think there's kind of all the stuff that we already know about, isn't there? About, trying to go to bed and get up at the same time every day, even on the weekends. And, I go through really terrible periods of insomnia sometimes. So one of the things that really helps me is, I think, what happens is when it gets quite late, you start panicking. You start thinking, oh, I've only got 4 hours sleep now. Oh, I've got to get up in a bit. Oh, I'm going to be really tired. I've got work tomorrow. And you can kind of get yourself in a bit of a state. So I just sort of tell myself, you've been tired before. If you have no sleep, nothing bad is going to happen. You've managed this before. And I sort of kind of talk myself around and kind of calm myself down. And I think a lot of it is that kind of panic in the early hours of thinking how much sleep you've got left and how you're going to feel tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. You can just kind of sit there going through this loop, can't you? You're just sort of ruminating on the same.
And like worrying and kind of. Are you like that when you sleep without the noise?
I'd say
what's going on up
that's
there?
a real that's especially when you get to 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. That's when the worry really kicks in. You're like, oh, I'm not going to sleep tonight. This could be really bad, or I'm only going to have 2 hours sleep, or whatever it is. Yeah, and you're right. And then you get into then you become anxious, and you're like, oh God, now do I just get up?
Yeah, and I do that. I think that's quite a good thing to do. Is that kind of reset? Is to sort of get up, do something different, read a book,
give it another
come
go.
back, try again.
reading a book, that's the one for me that just absolutely KOs me.
Okay.
But
In a good way.
yeah, like real good.
So you know,
I know that I'm better at it, but I also have to have a good book, and I'm in a rut where I'm in bad books, and I'm like halfway through too, and I'm like, ugh, not enjoying it.
just on a side note, do you leave book reviews?
I don't actually. No. No.
Okay. I've started measuring my sleep. So obviously with kids, it's sleep is bad, but it does get better. But just trying to like my smartwatch, just kind of measuring the layers of sleep. And I know it's probably not that accurate, but it gives me a really good idea of, like, if I go to bed late, I know I'm going to have less time in bed. I'm going to have less REM. I'm going to have less deep sleep, and I can kind of see it, and I know the consequences of. But you often like lose track of what time you go to bed as well. Like I think so when you start tracking it, it's like, okay, it's now 9 o'clock, it's now 10 o'clock, it's now 11 o'clock, and you can get a better routine as well.
Yeah.
I think when you wake up and it says you've had 8 hours sleep and 9 hours in bed, or someone just put my shoes back in there, it's going to stretch out a bit.
So you're kind of getting that positive reinforcement then from doing it. So you've woken up, you've had your 9 hours, you're feeling good, and then you kind of keep doing it. Then you can sort of stick to it a bit more.
For those at home who have no idea about the importance of sleep, I mean, I think everyone does now. We all have a pretty good understanding that it's when our bodies recover, and more sleep better. More sleep better. It's just the basic gist. What are our top tips for those? So you've got sort of listening to trash.
Don't do that. It's not a top tip.
Books. What other sort of things would we have in our sleep hygiene?
We've said about kind of the regular going to bed, regular waking up times, and it's just all that stuff around caffeine, having that caffeine super late.
So there's a cut-off time for caffeine, isn't there?
Yeah, I reckon that's
after 2 o'clock, or
depends on the individual.
I've seen you have coffees at like 6 o'clock at night. And I'm
I
like,
just had a
this-
coffee. I mean, it's
I'm
not
like,
for me.
This guy's mad. Like, what's he doing? He's never sleeping.
Your coffee, I don't think it impacts me the same as.
Isn't it funny that whenever you go out for a meal, regardless of the time, so even if you go out for a meal at 8 o'clock at night, you always get offered a coffee at the end of the meal.
Love it.
That's to get you out the restaurant. 'Cause
You'd
you're
never
too,
do
like-
that at home, would you?
I think
Or
some-
Jamie might.
I think some people do.
Coffee before bed.
Yeah, my auntie and uncle have a cafetiere at like 10 o'clock at night. I'm like,
My friend Chops, and you should check out his Instagram, John March, and he does this coffee stuff. He'll smash a coffee any time of day, wherever it is. So after a barbecue, coffee. Restaurant, coffee. Always coffee. And there's just people out there who just
Love coffee.
take it back. Yeah.
do they sleep?
John, no, he hasn't slept for 10 years. So definitely, I mean, what thoughts on alcohol? Does that impact our sleep?
Yeah, I think that people think that alcohol helps them to sleep, because I suppose they kind of getting into bed, aren't they? And it's kind of helping them to sort of zonk out. But alcohol can kind of actually wake you up in the night and cause a much more kind of disturbed sleep, and it can wake you up super, super early. I know if you've been on a big night out and then all of a sudden you wake up at sort of 6 o'clock in the morning, you're like, oh God, no, I just take me back to sleep. But no, I think alcohol's a bit of a baddie when it comes to sleep, that it's a bit, it kind of tricks people into thinking it helps, but it doesn't really.
Yeah, it does a few things like that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Definitely puts me to sleep. But I think you're right, it doesn't give you as good quality of sleep.
Water, lots of water.
Yeah, that's a really big one, isn't it? Drinking lots of pints of water, making sure you're hydrated throughout the day. That's supposed to be really helpful for getting to sleep.
But maybe not right before bed.
Yeah, then
otherwise-
you're up and down all night.
need a wee.
Was that an age thing?
Our little dog seems to water intake before bed is his thing. He's going to have a great sleep with that. But then come 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, he's just kind of stands on my chest. So he'll just come in and just kind of stand there, and I'll be like lying there, and I'll wake up and I'll just be there like, and it's like, okay, toilet time. It's like, he doesn't wake me up with a bark or anything, or like anything else. He'll just stand there because he knows I'm about to wake up.
You've got to take his water away.
Oh, look, if he wants to drink water before bed.
I can't believe you've got a dog and I didn't know about it.
Oh,
Yep, little Alto. This is a Papillon.
oh, it's so cute.
I'm going to have to see a picture of this
Alto
dog.
was supposed to come into the office, but he's too cute. He just distracts everyone. He just like wisps around, and everyone's like, "Oh, Alto," all day.
Yeah.
So.
Bring him in. Bring him in.
I'll bring him in. But animals, and I guess, sleep does change when you're with a partner as well, because you're kind of like adapting to the other partner's sleep as well, aren't you? Bit of a nightmare situation. Like, it is, the single sleep is the best sleep you can have in life, I think. Like, if you were saying gold standard, best is in your own bed, in a giant bed. It's true, right? Like, don't pretend like...
Alison's been away this weekend. It's been awful. Can't sleep when she's not there.
Really?
Yeah.
Can Alison sleep when you're there?
I have never asked her.
Surely you know if Alison's sleeping really well. Alison, can you drop a
Alison,
comment?
If I'm not there, she sleeps on my side of the bed. Say if I come home at like 2 a.m, I've got to move her because she's rolled over and just got herself on my side of the bed. But yeah, when she's not there, I find it very empty. So.
Okay. Well, I mean, would you agree? Single sleep is the best sleep you can get.
Yeah, definitely.
I can't really remember what single sleep felt like. It's been a long time.
Oh, gosh, Mark is just in a
Has it
comatose state on the edge of the couch. I can't remember what life was like.
I enjoy single sleep, I'm sure.
I'm not saying for a moment, and Jen, I know you're listening to this, I'm not saying for a moment that sleep is like terrible with a partner. I'm just saying gold standard sleep single. Next is with a partner. But then you're like, if they wake up or if they're sick or if they're coughing or if they're
snore.
a roller or a snorer or a teeth grinder or a quilt hugger or a quilt stuffer, you've got to put up with all that shit, right?
Yeah.
Changes the whole dynamics.
Yeah, my husband sometimes gets really, really close and I'm like, oh, okay.
From the middle in or the middle out?
We have our sides of the
Everyone
bed,
has a side.
and then he'll start encroaching on my side.
Back in or front in?
Any kind of way, and I don't like that. When I'm asleep, I'm like, back off. And I have
Do you say this when you're asleep?
I just
like...
can't. I start leaning, and then it gets to the point where you can't lean anymore, and then I get cross.
But are you a middle out?
What's a middle out? What
So
are these
like,
words?
no.
that
So
you're-
you've got in the bed.
Yeah.
Like, if you're both back to back, then you rightly have access to your sides. That is complete your real estate. Do what you want.
Okay.
But if he's like encroaching on your side with his knees or his back, then if you're already on the middle line, then you have to yield a little bit because you're the wall, right? He should be allowed. Jen and I talk about this all the time. You should be allowed to move into the other half a little bit. If they're back, okay, I should stop talking about this. So it's angry. If you're back in, then
the
then it
line
works.
after this, before the people are asleep, then you can cross the line. But after sleep, it's like the Great Wall of China. It is immovable. You cannot cross this line.
You don't want to draw lines with your partner. You want to draw them for yourself. So when you get into the bed, you know where the line is in the middle. You want that half. So you get in just over that line.
Okay.
And you don't say anything to them.
You're getting a
but you
demo.
know, yeah, you're just over. And then when they're like falling asleep and you're going to sleep, you're like, okay, well now I go back to my side. And now we've got a bit of...
I don't think anyone is still watching this.
No,
But
I don't either.
dual quilt or no quilt? Single quilt or dual quilt?
Depends on time of year.
This is also something really important. Like if you're struggling with a healthy circadian rhythm and you're struggling to get to sleep, the temperature, like your temperature is a massive thing.
Oh
isn't
yeah,
it?
because it's your brain has to cool down, right?
I don't know about that.
Yeah, that's,
Fact check that, someone.
Yeah, fact check that because it's.
I don't think that's a thing.
Yeah, your brain has to cool. Your brain has to cool by 2 degrees for you to go to sleep. So if it's really hot, it's harder to sleep than it is if it's cold.
Your brain has to cool by 2 degrees.
Something crazy like that. Yeah,
That can't be a thing.
check it out. We'll have to.
I
Google
thought
it.
your whole body was at
Just-
36.6.
Yeah,
I
it
thought
can't
that was,
cool 2 degrees. I think.
0.2 degrees then maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
That'd probably be more likely. But I think your brain has to cool down to sleep, which is why it's
fact check that.
fact check it.
Tristan,
Yeah.
can you fact check that? That is absolute nonsense.
I don't see you fact checking it.
But a temperature is so massive, right? If you sleep really hot, you have the lucid, crazy dreams, and you wake up. But like temperature, I moved from an 8 tog to a 4 tog, and life is great. Sleep is really improved.
Some people like the cool in the bed, don't they?
Yeah.
I like it nice and warm with extra blankets.
And does that create any issues with your partner?
No, because I have my own extra blankets that I use for myself. like separately, and he just has the duvet. Everyone's happy.
So you dual quilt situation.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
Mark.
keeping out of this because I've got a dog in my bed. Not my well, that sounds, but the dog being a whippet and my wife, and I know it's very frowned upon having your dog in the bed.
Where does Finley go?
Can I just
Finley's
clarify? So he's huge. Your dog is huge.
No, she isn't. She's a
I
very
said
small.
your dog, didn't I?
Said
I didn't
he?
gender your dog.
You said he. It's not massive. She's tiny.
Where does
She's a little
does she
whippet.
sleep at the end of the bed or like in between you two?
Depends what time of night. So she starts at the bottom and she'll slowly work her way into the middle. And then normally I'll wake up in the morning. She'll be in the middle, like with her head on the pillow, like a human.
And where's Finley?
Finley's in a crib on the side
Okay.
of the bed.
Is it like a Moses basket type
Yeah.
thing?
I mean, that's a proper little family, that is, isn't it?
Yeah, all in one room within a very small space.
Yeah.
And so in Australia, and don't take this as gospel, whatever you do in your country, stick to your country's like guidance or best practice. But in Australia, like getting out of the main bedroom is a really big thing. So like you put the baby in their crib as quickly as possible. This may have changed. I know all the Australians right now are losing their minds. Emmy Casey, you, but like. Is that not, that's different in the UK. The NHS says keep them in 6 months.
6 months, yeah. Yeah, my wife doesn't agree with that. She wants the baby into the crib in the nursery as soon as possible.
That's a big thing. I think North America is get out of them. Like, it is really tough for parents to sleep if you've got a screaming child and a whippet.
But I suppose when they're newborn, you're still going to have to get up then, aren't you? And then walk to the nursery. So if you're quite lazy, if they're next to you, then I suppose it's easier, isn't it?
But if there's two of you and you're trying to like sleep or something, or do it on a schedule where one can go in and feed and the other one can sleep or get a couple of hours, or you can swap nights. Like you can do, someone's going to get up for the wake ups, and it depends on if you're feeding. I totally get it, but if they're on the bottle, then you could get up as well and switch it. Thoughts? TalkLife, if you've gone through this, I mean, it's tough, isn't it?
Help.
The more people talk about it, the more like, I'm like, just don't know. Just don't know about it.
If only I'd watched this podcast beforehand.
To be fair, all of mine slept all through the night from 3 months. And I trained them to do that. I think if you're really, really good and you kind of get your boundaries in, then you can do that too, Mark. I'll help you.
Mark. You can do it.
Can I just unpick that? So you sleep train them. Are you being serious?
Yeah.
Was it sleep training, like cry it out, or what did you do? How did you do it?
Just, they say controlled crying, but it's basically...
Is that the 5 minutes, 8 minutes, 10 minutes, sort of, or...
Well,
20 minutes,
it's
30
more
minutes, okay.
Like you kind of get to that point where you're like, I'm so tired, I'm going to die. Something needs to kind of change here. So then you just put the baby in their own room and just shut the door and don't go in there again. That's it. And then go to sleep. And after, obviously, you've fed your baby at this point. Your baby has a clean nappy. Like your baby is fine. There's nothing wrong with your baby. You obviously, if they were crying because they had booed themselves. Why are you looking at me really horrified, Rory?
I mean, I like it. I like the sound of it getting done in 3 months. But then I know that loads of other people don't agree, or not that I don't think people have a kid and then they start looking at stuff and they're going, right, this is what everyone's doing. This is what we're going to do.
And it's quite distressing to hear your own baby crying and crying and crying. But if you don't get through that, then you'll still be having your kid in your bed when they're 5. That's what you've got to kind of keep in your mind.
We did sleep training. Like I think it's we actually like running a business and everything else. We just couldn't like there was times when it was like we just need sleep. So we got a night nanny, which has changed our life, because like you get a night nanny for 3 or 4 nights. They come in and just offer support. So they bring the baby in to feed, and they don't necessarily do sleep training, but they just assure you that everything's fine, and they teach you some of the basics. And I think being in another country where we didn't necessarily have other families around us, we didn't actually know exactly what to do. And the night nanny was just amazing. They're expensive, I think, but to do them on like a short burst, like 3 or 4 days just to get your sanity back is just amazing. I think it's incredible. But yeah, I'm all for the controlled crying.
That was a good way of putting it.
But I think everybody kind of, you're you, aren't you? You're going to do what's best for you and your baby and your kind of family. I think that's the thing when you've got a baby, isn't it? Is that people want to give you all this sort of advice, don't they?
I'm going to keep listening to the TalkLife parenting pod.
I don't think there's enough discussion about the real aspects of parenting, though. Like, I think like there's so many facades, and parents are always trying to upstage each other. Oh, we've got a sleepy baby, and everything is going fine. And I get it, right? Some of you out there have just mastered parenting, but there's others out there just like it's really.
Surely so much of it's to do, I think there's two. Surely so much of it's to do with the kid. And the other thing that really gets me when I think about it is I'm like, I don't know that what I'm doing right now isn't going to affect this kid in 18 years or 20 years. Like
the reviews.
I mean,
like
this guy's gonna. If I don't let this kid sleep or this kid's not near me when they want to cry, in 20 years' time, he's or she is going to get terrible reviews. That's my concern.
I don't think it works. Like
Maybe terrible reviews from me. So you don't think it works like that? No.
No, not for things like. Do you remember anything like that? I don't think we remember that. Do we?
Not from a baby, no.
I wouldn't worry about it.
I am constantly questioning my ability as a parent, though. Like I'm constantly thinking I should be spending more time doing this. I should be like getting less frustrated. I should have a better ability to control certain situations. And you're constantly like this self-doubt.
How do you deal with frustration with the kids?
It's not easy, right? Like I think you've got that fight or flight. Like if kids are screaming and they're throwing a tantrum or something, and there's not that many levers you can pull, especially when they're that age. And it's like, I don't know what to do. I've had no sleep. I'm tired. Yeah. I'm frustrated. I've got to be out for work. I've got to there's not that many things. But I think just walking out of that situation, like you said, like knowing the baby is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
And they're going to be fine for a few minutes while you go and get a breather, make a coffee. But the biggest thing I think is just asking for help. Like I think when you hand it off to a night nanny or someone and just say like, actually, it makes sense to have someone come in and help.
Where are these mysterious night nannies, Mark?
I didn't see any when I was driving around listening to Indiana Jones.
Just walking around.
Going to McDonald's last night.
just walking around like a little pride of
Mary Poppins with an umbrella.
What you're doing is you're setting a precedent. So you're setting that precedent that you get in the car, and that's when the baby sleeps.
Are you saying my newborn's going to crave McDonald's at 12:30
Well, no, it's
at
like
night?
getting in the car to sleep, isn't it? It's like when people rock the cribs, they're setting that precedent then that the baby then that's how they sleep.
Yeah.
So you want to kind of avoid all that.
So basically, we still do the things that, like, we still set that expectation now in our adult years that babies get. You rock the crib for a baby, that's how you sleep. You take your phone to bed, that's how you sleep. You expect not to sleep, that's how you sleep. So
yeah.
So
It is a bit like
it
that,
never
isn't it?
changes.
No.
We can't change. Us all-knowing beings can't change.
I don't know. There is a great book. If you're a parent at home and you're struggling, there's a book called Precious Little Sleep. And it goes through the different stages. So like to the day, you can pretty much predict when these things are going to go into a different cycle or a different pattern of sleep. So sometimes it'll be 3 wake-ups, 4 wake-ups, sleep forever from 3 months. That's just amazing. I have no sympathy at all anymore when I say you've had twins. Like it's just constant sleep.
I'll drop them around on the weekend.
Yeah, but there is a really good book on that. Just wrapping this up, I mean, do you have any other tips for sleep? So so people at home struggling with sleep.
I think when I was a student, I used to write my essays on my bed. I used to sit on my bed and write my essays. I don't know why, because I had a desk and everything, but I just used to find it really, really comfortable. And I think that stopped me from sleeping, because you've just been on your bed all day studying, and then when you come to get into the bed, it's a bit like... Oh, and even now, if I work from home, I try not to use the desk in my bedroom, because then I've been in there all day and then I have to go to bed in that room, and I just find it like it's just not a nice experience. So I'd say like only be in your bedroom and on your bed for bedtime activities.
Yep.
I'm going with water and food. They're my two ones that I think are the biggest ones for me. Making sure I'm eating well and good diet.
Don't they say though not to have a big meal before bed as well, like 3
I mean,
hours?
like smashing in takeaways and stuff like that, and
Yeah,
burgers,
sure.
and eating your veggies, getting your nutrition, and drinking lots of water, and that's just gonna make you feel better, anyways.
I mean, you know a lot of these things already. Like I think there's a lot of things we already know about what our bodies do well. Warm bath and a shower. Like I always find a warm bath, I could fall asleep just in a bath.
Oh, I think that's where the temperature thing came from. You have the warm bath that heats you up, so then when you go to bed, your body's rapidly cooling down. That's what helps you sleep.
Not the 2 degree
But
brain
it's
drop.
it's the change in temperature it's the drop, your brain dropping in temperature, or the heat, something like that. Well, let's Google it and find out.
Yeah, I think baths are really calming, aren't they? I think they can help with your blood pressure. I'm sure I've read something like that.
Rao, you're getting all the facts here, but you should fact check all of it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Google,
Mark, do you have
all of this
do you have a
stuff.
tip? You're in the heart of it.
Mark, in a previous life, used to exercise
Yeah.
in the evenings. So I'd go to... A lot of people hate going to the gym before bed because it stimulates their mind too much and they can't sleep. But I used to love going just before bed, absolutely knackering yourself out and then just collapsing on the bed. So, yeah.
Are you trying to say that some people don't train hard enough?
Yeah.
I wanna-
can't talk at the moment.
I want to move on from sleep, but one other little hot tip that if you are really struggling to get a sleep, get up. And I mean, a lot of people say just get up and go for a walk or walk around the house. Don't sit there thinking about.
Yeah, those
Must.
thoughts.
I really
kind
like that one. I've never tried that. I'm gonna try that next time.
of, those kind of worrying
Yeah.
thoughts that pop up.
Stop rolling around for 4 hours in bed, tearing your hair
It's
out.
horrible, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
It
I'm
is-
just gonna
it's
get up
horrible.
and go and do something.
There's still like if you are like if it is like middle of the night and you're wide awake listening to this, you've still got a chance for some really good deep sleep as well. Like you can, when you switch off, you can still have that sort of initial deep sleep. You might wake up feeling less revived, but there's still don't think the night is written off.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
it.
and as my mum always says as well, at least you're resting, even if you're not sleeping.
There's some really good tips on your post, Mark. Sleep when baby sleeps, taken in turns with mama. Sleep will still be sparse, but a little bit better. So definitely
Yep.
taking in
Heard
turns.
that one a bit, yeah.
And then somebody else just said, "Congratulations, mate. Instrumental music helps."
I think I replied to that one saying Finley doesn't agree with the instrumental music.
There's a playlist on Spotify called Peaceful Piano. And
Yeah.
it tortures me.
All over that.
It was the playlist of our kids sleeping.
What's Finley into? A bit more. Yeah, a bit screamy.
Have you tried the white noise yet? The
No.
white noise on the phone yet?
I have tried. I can't handle the white noise.
Okay.
I just can't do it.
Okay.
It's just, I don't know. Everyone loves it. I just can't stand it.
Even if it made your baby sleep.
Just can't stand it.
I just can't stand it.
Curious at that. Can't stand it. I'd rather the baby cry. Hey, we spent a lot of time on sleep. If you have sleep tips, let us know. Gaming, big week in gaming. We'll touch on it really quickly. Forge is out.
Forge is out.
How was it?
Unbelievable. Impossible to use, but it's great. It's
Is
really
it
exciting.
everything you wanted it to be?
I haven't got into it enough, and I just got deep into the maps, just playing on the new maps over the weekend. And Forge, I've kind of messed around with, but I just need to do a tutorial.
I'm extremely excited about anti-gravity rockets.
The different changes that you can make to the game format is out of this world. I just haven't seen anything like it. Maybe that's because I'm not playing enough games, but yeah, for me, just the fact that you can actually just reinvent the whole of Halo 2, what you want it to be like.
But
It's
that's
gonna be-
original Halo, isn't it?
Oh yeah, for
Tristan,
sure.
when did the original Halo come out? You must know this off the top of your head. 2001.
What was the first with Forge? Halo 3? Yeah.
And it was split screen, 4-player,
Four-player
anti-gravity
split screen.
rockets.
Yeah, or Griffball was the other one. That was a really big one, which is where you have to get the skull to the other end of the room, and you play with like swords and sticky grenades or something like that, and it's just
It's
just
that was the
fun.
4-player split screen. That was like the joys of gaming growing up. Like I think
Goldeneye. Oh,
Goodness gracious.
Well, they like really pushed it hard for everyone to own their own console, and then ruined couch gaming. And so you'd go to your friend's house and you'd be like, well, we can't both play on the same game, so now I'll just go home and we'll play online. And you've ruined so much of what was important about gaming when you were a kid, which is just getting a load of you in a room and playing Goldeneye.
And there was like,
or Mario Kart.
we
Mario
can't do it
Kart.
now because like the hardware, you know, your
Yeah, the size of the game is.
your 4090 can't handle 4
Yeah.
split screens. Although my Nintendo 64 with its expansion pack and its rumble packs and the controller could do it. Like, come on, Nintendo, you can do it.
You can do
Like
it.
all we want is 4-player split screen. I don't care. Just bring it back. I don't want 2-player. I want 4-player. Our TVs are significantly larger now as well. You're not working on a little CRT.
Yeah.
I'm really passionate about this Nintendo. Bring it back. But there is GoldenEye's coming back, isn't it?
GoldeNeye's coming
Tristan?
back onto Xbox Games Pass probably the end of the month, I think, maybe something like that.
The GoldenEye.
Yeah, so
For Christmas.
So they remastered it before, didn't they? About a few years
That wasn't
ago.
good.
But I believe it's coming out. I haven't seen a trailer, so I don't know. But hopefully it's going to come out bigger, better.
it's never going to be the same though, is it? Because it was so new. There was nothing else like it.
I remember speed running it, and you'd get to the laboratory and stuff, and like it is so good. I did actually play the remastered, and it looked awful. Like it looked so bad.
Yeah.
And
I think you got to stop
Nostalgia.
remastering at a certain point and just remake.
talking about remastering the John Wick trailer. Did you see it? John Wick 4? Anyone?
Yes, I've seen it.
What did you think?
I love the John Wick movies.
Do you think
so
it's
I'm
just
very excited.
going too far? Do you think they need to stop?
No, I love it. I think they're all ridiculous. They get more ridiculous each time.
But now he has to fight for his life in a one-on-one, which just
Love it.
absolutely love it.
All about John Wick.
I feel like it.
Apart from the dog in the first one. That's one of the
that's
saddest
so
TV
brutal.
moments.
Oh,
yeah.
too much. Have you seen it, Kerry?
No.
What do you mean?
We need to do a movie night. in
We could do a
here.
movie watch-along. I think Pandora's done a couple of movie watch-alongs. I don't know if John Wick is the one.
What's the premise of it? Is it?
Oh, well, it's a difficult story. So a partner passes away, gives his
I think it's a
husband
pod in
dog.
itself, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's an on the couch John Wick special.
And who's in it? Who is John Wick?
Keanu.
Okay, I can watch that then. I can definitely watch.
Well, you
that.
haven't.
Sorry, you're like, oh, I can watch that then just because it's Keanu Reeves?
Yeah.
Easy on the
Akimbo.
eye.
Oh, he's lovely though, isn't he?
He seems like a very nice man.
He does.
He's just the nicest.
He-
I don't know him personally, but everyone loves him.
Yeah.
Everyone loves him, and he always pops up just doing something just outrageously good for everyone else.
He was in Bill and Ted. You know, the man's a legend.
Yeah, that is.
But he
that's a
does
great
run
film.
stupid.
He was doing this over the weekend with someone's housekeeper or something. He was just there like doing a video with them. I love you. If you're watching Keanu, you're not. Actually, if you're still watching this, you're a hardcore TalkLife OG.
Come on the
member.
couch.
Come on the couch. If you want to come on the couch, if you want to be on the couch, we need to get like Positive Val or some of the Bristol-based TalkLifers on the couch.
Yeah.
I'd love that.
That'd be
Yeah.
really good.
But yeah, if you haven't watched John Wick, Akimbo, your kids are asleep, just
I'm going to keep my eye out for it.
keep an eye out for the update. We want to do more of these on the couches. If you find it helpful, let us know. If you don't, let us know. If you think we should be discussing different topics, let us know. I really want to talk about more transparency about things that the world just doesn't want to talk about. I think there's so much bullshit and facades. I think we just need to actually have real chats.
It was
This
funny
year.
actually. When we were in the pub watching the Australia-Italy game, and the
Which Australia?
the Australian they needed 2 points to win it, and they had the conversion kick, and he missed the conversion kick, and everyone in the pub's like, oh yeah, and then me and 3 other friends were like, I feel real sorry for that guy because he's going to get destroyed on social media now. Like that was probably all that was running through his head when he was cooking up to that. He's like, if I miss this, I'm going to get Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, people going after it's a big topic at the moment, and I think with the World Cup coming up and what
Okay.
people are going through.
Can you
so-
just clarify? Did Italy,
Ah,
Italy
no,
beat
gosh.
Australia?
Oh, gosh.
Italy beat Australia. Yeah, he missed the conversion kick.
I thought, okay, so I thought this could have been like you were jabbing me about the World Cup, Italy, when Italy took a dive in the final minutes.
No.
I talk about World Cups. We don't want to talk about England winning the World Cup over Pakistan on the weekend. Nobody wants to talk about that, Mark. So we didn't talk about that, but we don't have time to talk about that today. But I think we could definitely talk about the World Cup next week.
Starts on Sunday. So.
Yeah, very exciting. If you're going to the World Cup, interesting World Cup to go to. Probably a topic in itself. Would love to talk about it. If you're doing a sweep, Australia.
Wales.
Wait, are Australia in it?
Are Wales in it?
Wales are
Yeah.
definitely in it.
We're in it.
Mark, can you clarify? Did Wales? Because
Yes,
you're the
Wales
Welsh.
are in
you're Welsh.
England's group. I'm
So-
not Welsh.
You've got the Welsh top. Can you drop that photo in as well? Right, we should wrap this up. I think it's end of the on the couch. Again,
I love how my word wasn't enough. He's got to ask Mark.
well, he's the Welshman,
He's our Welsh representative in the office.
and he's got the strip.
And we'll call it a day there.
All right,
Bye, TalkLife.
bye.
Bye, guys.